Pamela Anderson has finally broken her silence about her brief but undeniably real romance with Liam Neeson, and what she revealed is far more emotional, intimate, and unexpected than anyone saw coming. This isn't a recycled Hollywood rumor or a fluffy PR story. This is Pamela telling her truth, in her own words, about a connection that surprised even her. And today, we're diving deep into every detail, the quiet moments, the sparks audiences sensed long before confirmation, and the honest explanation of where things stand now, years after whispers first began. Pamela begins by addressing the question everyone had been whispering about for months. Was there really something happening between her and Liam Neeson during and after the filming of their 2025 movie The Naked Gun? According to her, yes, absolutely. She revealed that after filming wrapped, the chemistry people saw on screen actually spilled over into real life. Not during the movie, not staged for cameras, but afterward, when the long days on set had ended and they found themselves drawn to each other in a more genuine, personal way. She described their romantic period as an intimate week, a phrase already tells you this wasn't a fling she dismisses or laughs off. She spent that week at Liam's home in upstate New York, a setting almost designed for unexpected romance. Quiet mornings with fresh coffee, long conversations that stretched into the evening, walks through the secluded property, and the stillness of nature that contrasts sharply with the frenzy of Los Angeles. She made it clear this wasn't some wild, secretive Hollywood rendezvous. She even had her own room in the house. Assistants came and went, family members stopped by. It wasn't hidden or scandalous. It was simply two adults enjoying each other's company in a way that felt natural and safe. Pamela described small moments that are usually missing from celebrity stories because they're too real, too ordinary, and that's exactly why they matter. They would share dinner at a tiny French restaurant Liam loved, the kind of place tucked away on a quiet street where everyone seems to have known each other for decades. Pamela said she felt strangely anonymous there, almost like a regular person. At one point, Liam jokingly introduced her to someone as the future Mrs. Neeson, which caught her off guard, but also made her laugh. She said it wasn't a proposal, it wasn't a headline waiting to happen, it was simply a playful, intimate moment between two people who were enjoying a spark that neither of them expected. One of her favorite memories came from the garden. Liam has always loved gardening, something many people don't even know about him, and Pamela found peace in joining him. She described kneeling beside a rose bush that had grown wild and tangled with mint leaves, the two of them working together, their shoulders brushing as they trimmed and gently shaped the plant. She remembers the warm light of the late afternoon sun, the scent of mint on her hands, and Liam's gentle humor as he explained each plant like it was a close friend. For someone like Pamela, who has lived so much of her life in front of flashing cameras and relentless scrutiny, these simple domestic tasks felt grounding. They were the kind of moments that reminded her she was still human, still capable of quiet, hopeful connection. And then, of course, there was the bear, the story that almost sounds scripted, except she swears every detail is true. One morning during breakfast, a large bear wandered up near the house. Pamela said she froze, not entirely sure what to do. Liam, still wearing his robe and slippers, reacted without hesitation, stepping outside, raising his voice, and shooing the bear away like it was nothing more than a nosy neighbor. She said she didn't know whether to laugh or scream, but the entire moment felt like it belonged in a romantic comedy mixed with an action film. It was ridiculous, unexpected, heroic, and unforgettable. A bizarre memory that somehow encapsulated the charm and realness of their time together. But Pamela is clear about one thing. The romance, as meaningful as it was, wasn't built to last. Once that magical, lost week, as she calls it, ended, reality returned. They both had separate filming commitments, separate schedules, separate cities, and their brief window of connection naturally closed. That week became something suspended in time, untouched by work, untouched by gossip, untouched by the heavy expectations that come with being public figures. that might have been the end of it, except for the global press tour that came months later when they reunited to promote The Naked Gun, and that's when the world really started talking. Fans noticed immediately the way they stood together, the way they smiled at each other, the subtle touches, the hand-holding, the comfortable closeness, the inside jokes whispered between answers during interviews. Reporters said their chemistry was palpable, effortless, even undeniably romantic. People began to wonder whether their on-screen dynamic was inspired by something deeper happening behind the scenes long before they confirmed anything. Pamela even joked that the vibe between them during that press tour felt like something out of a cozy romantic comedy, warm, light, and almost nostalgic. She described it as a little bit like a Nancy Meyers film, where the atmosphere is soft, the emotions are genuine, and the romance is subtle but unmistakable. Fans picked up on this energy instantly. Social media exploded with slow-motion clips of their interactions, edits set to romantic music, and endless speculation about whether they were secretly a couple. But with visibility comes speculation, and the biggest rumor, the one she clearly wanted to address, was whether their romance was nothing more than a publicity stunt to boost the movie. Pamela pushed back hard against that idea. She said it wasn't orchestrated, it wasn't planned, and it certainly wasn't fake. "This is real. We have real feelings," she insisted, emphasizing the authenticity of their connection meant far more to her than any Hollywood gossip cycle. She said if anything, the publicity surrounding their closeness made things harder, not easier. It forced them to question how much of their bond could survive the pressure of public eyes. Still, despite the affection between them, Pamela was honest about where they stand today. She said she deeply admires Liam, his kindness, his intelligence, his humor, and the unexpected way he made her feel grounded, but she also admitted they're better off as friends, not because the romance wasn't real, but because their lives simply didn't align in a way that would allow it to continue naturally. She said sometimes the right person comes at the wrong time, and that's a truth many people understand, but few celebrities ever admit. One moment she highlighted as especially meaningful was when Liam attended a theater performance she did in New York last August. She wasn't expecting him to show up, but he did, quietly, respectfully, and simply to support her. After the show, he hugged her and told her he was proud of her, a gesture she said meant more than he probably realized. It wasn't romantic, it wasn't a grand gesture, it was something more important, sincere support. She said that moment confirmed that while they may not be meant for each other romantically, the care between them remains incredibly real. In a city like Hollywood, where relationships are often transactional or short-lived, Pamela said she values the fact that what remains between them and Liam is respect and genuine affection. There's no bitterness, no scandal, no dramatic fallout, just gratitude for a moment in time that meant something to both of them. She said too many Hollywood romances end in chaos, accusations, or total silence. She's relieved that theirs ended with warmth and understanding. She also wanted to shut down one more rumor, the idea that their romance was exaggerated or fabricated by the media. She insisted that what people saw and speculated about wasn't far from the truth. The chemistry was real, the affection was real, even the confusion about whether they were a couple was real, because they were navigating those feelings themselves. Pamela said when the world is guessing your relationship status before you fully understand it, things get blurry in emotionally complicated ways. In the end, Pamela described the entire experience as a reminder that even in a world built on illusions, authenticity still exists. Connections can happen suddenly, unexpectedly, and briefly, and still be meaningful. Their story isn't a Hollywood epic or a long-term romance, but it is a real human connection that stood out in a life full of noise, a moment of calm, of joy, of honesty in a world where those things are rare. Whether fans hoped they would become a couple or whether people doubted the legitimacy of their relationship, Pamela made it clear. What happened between her and Liam Neeson wasn't for show. It was private, it was genuine, and it will always hold a place in her heart. And sometimes, she said, that's enough. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.